Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris Man, and as always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. And today I'm going to do a video in response to a video I did yesterday called Name Your Topic, where I encourage my subscribers and viewers to send me some ideas and I'll elaborate it in video form. So that's what I'm going to do. I got two, I guess, inquiries yesterday or questions that they wanted me to elaborate on my suggestions regarding these questions. And the first one is this one. I got a guy out there who's a drummer and he's interested in perhaps buying some electronic drums, and what do I think? And my response is I love them. I mean, the advantages of electronic drums to me versus the acoustic is this. Anybody who has ever done studio work know what I'm about to say as far as and agree with it. The hardest instrument to mic up during your recording session are those drums. It's those drums. It's hard to get a good drum sound. I mean, I think that's why I'll say Led Zeppelin and Van Halen, were so successful, because your drums are your foundation. And when you hear a lot of their songs, you first hear those drums, and not to take away from the musicianship of these legendary drummers, but drums are the hardest thing to mic up. They're the hardest thing to get a sound out of, or good sound, because there's some guys that sound like they beating on pots and pans and they don't realize it, that the drums sound awful. They could be sounding good playing mechanically, physically, but the sound of the drums are awful. So that's the advantage of electronic drums, where you go in the studio, you can run your drums directly into your mic and amp. You can run your amp into the board, or you can run your drums straight in. And the cool thing again about the electronic drums is you get that brain. They call it the brain, where you can go in and start panning your sound. Because if when you're in the studio, a lot of times you would pan the tom-tom, so when the drummer does the roll, it sounds like it's going across the entire stereo spectrum. So normally we do that on the board, but with these electronic drums, you can actually do that on the brain when you run it into the mixing board. And then the other extremely cool thing about that is electronic drums versus manual drums is now you have access to all these exotic cool drum sounds. You can MIDI up your drum kit to a sound module, drum sound module, and trigger all these cool drum sounds, which you can't do with conventional drums. With conventional drums, you stuck with that sound of that particular kit. It's not going to change. The kick ain't going to change. The snare is not going to change. The highs, the tom-toms, nothing. So, that's the advantage of electronic drums. And another advantage is, and most musicians will attest to this, especially drummers, especially when you're young and you're still at home, you're forced to the garage, if you have a garage or access to a garage, because drums are very noisy. I mean, I could take my guitar, my electric guitar, go in the other room without amplification and just play. Nobody hear me. But with those drums, because I know that I used to play drums when I was a kid, you got that noise factor. And the cool thing about the electronic drums is you just hear like sticks hitting pads versus you actually hearing the drum sound. So that's another advantage as far as it doesn't make a lot of noise. You might live in an apartment or a house, where you got neighbors that are sensitive and they don't want to hear that noise or those drums playing. So that's the other advantage of having electronic drums versus acoustic drums. Now, there is a difference in feel. And that might be something that might take a couple of weeks to kind of get used to, because if you've been playing conventional drums all your life, then you switch over to electronic drums, it feels different. The pad, the response of the sticks hitting the pads versus the sticks hitting the tom-toms or the snare on a real drum, totally different feel. But eventually you'll get used to it. You make that adjustment. But I totally recommend getting electronic drums. I mean, I love them. I mean, the drums that I had, they were Lisa's DM2, I think. I love them. But I ended up having to get rid of them because I started to build my recording studio again, and they had to go. I just didn't have any room for them. So I actually gave it to one of my drummer friends. I just gave it to her. I said, come get them, and enjoy them, because I just don't have the physical space. I had all these guitars at that time, and I kind of liquidated that down to a smaller percentage, because me personally, I just really need maybe 2 or 3 good guitars and 2 basses, and I'm good. I had like 30 guitars up in here at one point. You know, but again, my recommendation, absolutely go for those electronic drums. I love them. So the next question that I had was this: what do I think of the certain people that have made contributions to the music industry? And the particular example was Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder to me was a godsend. I mean, here's a man that unfortunately lost his sight at a very, very early age and was able to accomplish what a lot of people with eyesight can't do. I mean, he's a true word of the word genius, you know, because everybody go on about the Prince thing, and I'm not going to get into that. He's a genius thing. I'm like, Stevie Wonder, you know, no one can dispute this, you know, because Stevie Wonder at a very early age not only displayed a multitude of musical talent, but just a very intelligent young man at the time. Because I read kind of a bio on him as far as how he got started in the business and the Motown. He went to Motown first, and Berry Gordy tried to give him, I guess. Well, I'm just gonna say this: he gave him the standard "I'm gonna f you over" record contract deal. Stevie Wonder, being the astute little guy he was at the time, and his mom, they was like, no thank you. So they worked with Stevie about over a year, and finally they gave him the deal he deserved. Because again, 99.9% of the time when you go into the music industry, they're trying to screw you. They're trying to give you a contract that's not really beneficial to you. It's totally beneficial to them. And since you know you're eager and you want to get into the business, you sign it, and you sign on to years of hardship and being screwed over. And Stevie Wonder was like, I'm not going there. I'm not going to let you take me there. And they didn't, you know, because he was quite steadfast about what he wanted as far as a record deal. And he got it. And he deserved it, you know. And a lot of people don't realize, because when we think of Stevie Wonder, we think of the keyboards, the synthesizers, how he revolutionized a lot of stuff, did some groundbreaking stuff. But he's a heck of a drummer. You know, I mean, a heck of a drummer, not just a dabbler. A lot of those guys back then were great drummers too. You know, James Brown, believe it or not, was a great drummer. Sammy Davis Jr. was an unbelievable great jazz drummer. You know, and when I say jazz is kind of like a different animal. You know, and when you play drums, as far as in the jazz format, it's like it's involved. You know, because for the most part, you know, pop drummers or whatever, and not taking away from their talent, because they are talented, but they just got to hold a beat and then kind of indicate the crashes when it's coming from the verses into the chorus or whatever. But with jazz drumming, it's kind of it's more involved, you know, and a lot of people have respect for jazz musicians, you know. So Stevie Wonder was able to do all that stuff, because I seen in this documentary, Standing in the Shadows of Love, the Funk Brothers, and the keyboard player, I forgot his name because he recently passed away. He said that when they first met Stevie Wonder, he was just, you know, playing a little bit, and he taught him some stuff. And he said didn't see Stevie Wonder for about 2 years, and when Stevie came back, Stevie was teaching him stuff, you know. So it's just amazing the talent that Stevie Wonder has, and a big contribution to the music industry. I mean, I can't imagine music without Stevie, you know. The great singing, you know, unbelievable voice, the range, how prolific he is with writing songs, because they say kind of like him and Prince, they got more stuff unreleased than they got stuff released. You know, that's just how creative these guys are. So, you know, that's kind of my take on Stevie Wonder. It's like he's up here. You know, he's the highest standard, and everybody tried to strive towards getting close to this, which is very difficult to do. So on that note, I'm going to sign off. So I encourage you guys, if you have any things you want me to speak on and give my opinion on, or things that I kind of know about that, you know, you guys want me to share, you know, as far as information, recording, and things of that nature, the guitars, you know, feel free to leave me a message, and I will comment on your comment. Till next time, take care. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.